It was just past midnight at the General Hospital, and Nurse Beasy was almost dozing off at the reception desk, struggling to keep her eyes open when she heard the automatic doors slide open. She looked up and was startled to see a young lady staggering into the lobby, clutching her stomach and squeezing her face in fear. Nurse Beasy's eyes widened. She jumped to her feet and rushed towards her. "Please," the young lady breathed as she leaned heavily against the wall. "Help me!" Nurse Beasy rushed forward, gently guiding her to a chair. "Miss, are you all right? What happened?" The lady tried to catch her breath. "Please get the doctor," she managed to say, as her voice trembled. "It is better seen than explained." Beasy exchanged a worried glance with another nurse who had just come over after hearing the commotion. Without wasting a moment, she picked up the phone and called Dr. Eunice, the doctor on duty that night. Dr. Eunice was in her office, through some patient's file when the call came in. She had always been calm under pressure, known for her steady hands and clear mind, even in emergencies. But there was something in Nurse Beasy's voice that hinted at urgency, and it made Dr. Eunice's heart race. "A patient just came in. She looked very distressed. She is insisting you come immediately," Nurse Beasy said. Dr. Eunice stood up, grabbed her stethoscope and slipped it around her neck. "I'll be right there." Moments later, Dr. Eunice entered the lobby, and she saw the young lady looking exhausted and afraid. Dr. Eunice approached her. "Hello, I'm Dr. Eunice. Can you tell me what happened?" The lady looked up helplessly. "Please, I can't explain it. You just need to see it first," she whispered. "Please hurry." Dr. Eunice could see the terror in her eyes. She nodded quickly, helping the young lady to stand up. "All right, let's just get you to the examination room." In the examination room, Dr. Eunice gently guided the woman to lie down on the examination table. She noticed the lady was trembling as her fingers gripped the edge of the table so tightly that her knuckles turned white. "Take a deep breath," Dr. Eunice said softly. "Can you tell me your name?" "Angela. My name is Angela," the lady said. Dr. Eunice nodded, trying to ease her anxiety. "Angela, I'm going to do a quick examination to understand what is causing you so much pain. Can you tell me where it hurts?" Angela's face shifted downward, and she hesitated before finally gesturing towards her lower abdomen. "It is down there," she mumbled with embarrassment and fear. "Please, just take a look." Dr. Eunice's expression remained calm and gentle as she prepared to begin the examination. But as Angela opened her legs, Dr. Eunice stepped back horrified. She had not expected what she saw, and she was not prepared for it. "Oh my God," she murmured, unable to believe what she was seeing. There were tiny white maggots squirming and writhing within Angela's most sensitive area. A sight so gusted and unnatural that Dr. Eunice felt a chill crawl down her spine. Angela's face squeezed as she began to sob, grabbing the doctor's hand. "Please, doctor, help me. I don't know what is happening. I don't want to die." Dr. Eunice took a deep breath, forcing herself to regain her composure. She had seen countless cases of infections and illnesses, but this was unlike anything she had encountered. "Angela, I am going to do everything I can to help, but I need you to be stronger, right?" Angela nodded through her tears, and Dr. Eunice set to work. She carefully administered an injection to help ease Angela's pain, and then she began to clean the affected area. As she worked, questions filled her mind, questions that had no immediate answers. Once Dr. Eunice had done what she could to stabilize Angela, she sat down across from her, trying to piece together what she had just witnessed. "Angela, this is a very unusual condition," she began carefully. "I have given you something to help manage the pain, and I have cleaned the area, but I need to know more about your medical history. When did you first notice anything unusual?" Angela wiped her tears away, trying to gather herself. "It started about 5 days ago. I noticed a strange smell, and I felt uncomfortable. I tried cleaning myself, but it did not help. The maggots just kept increasing even after cleaning. It just got worse." Dr. Eunice listened, nodding as her mind raced with possibilities. "Did you change anything recently? Any new medications, different foods or toiletries?" Angela answered, "No, not really. You mentioned you're a student. Do you stay in the hostel?" "Probably." "You got this from shared toilets." But Angela shook her head, stating that she stayed alone in a small room, and she was very particular with her hygiene. Dr. Eunice then asked with a low voice, "Are you sexually active?" Angela paused for a while before nodding. Dr. Eunice then asked, "I need to know when last you met with a man. Maybe it could help." Angela was embarrassed, but then she replied, "Well, I was with someone, my boyfriend Williams. We were together about a week ago." Dr. Eunice noted the information, sensing that Angela's condition might be connected to her encounter with Williams because there was something off, something that didn't fit into any medical category Dr. Eunice had encountered. "1 week ago, and you noticed this 5 days ago. That was after you met with him, Angela. I want to help you, but I need as much information as you can give me. Has anything else changed in your life recently? Maybe in your relationship? Anything that might have brought this on?" Angela's face grew troubled, and she took a deep breath. That should be Williams. He changed. He was always kind, always supportive. But recently, he started spending time with different people, wealthy friends, men who seemed to have everything. He started acting strange, and I can't even recognize him now. Dr. Eunice frowned, thinking through Angela's words. "Have you noticed anything unusual about Williams? Anything that might suggest maybe something out of the ordinary?" Angela looked away sadly. Nothing unusual except from the fact that he would always talk about wanting more from life and wanting to leave poverty behind. But I never saw him do anything out of the ordinary. He was just trying to belong, nothing more. Dr. Eunice's instincts were telling her that there was more to the story. She was well aware of some supernatural beliefs and stories of people making dark sacrifices to attain wealth and power. The idea seemed far-fetched, but after what she had seen, she couldn't dismiss it entirely. After stabilizing Angela the next morning, Dr. Eunice decided to consult with a specialist for a second opinion. She approached Dr. Namdi, the hospital's senior gynecologist, known for his expertise in handling rare and complex cases. As she sat in Dr. Namdi's office, Dr. Eunice recounted the event, describing Angela's condition in detail. "I have never seen anything like it," she concluded. "It is almost as if something mystical is happening there." Dr. Namdi's brow furrowed as he listened. He had seen unusual cases over the years, but this was new to him. "This sounds disturbing," he admitted, "and if I'm being honest, it reminds me of something I have only heard about casually. There are stories of people suffering strange afflictions due to spiritual manipulation." Dr. Eunice felt a shiver run down her spine. "Are you saying this might be supernatural?" Dr. Namdi nodded slowly. "It is a possibility. There are cases where people are targeted by dark forces, often through those closest to them. Angela mentioned her boyfriend. It might be worth finding out whether he's involved in something beyond the ordinary." Dr. Eunice was bewildered. She had always approached her work with a scientific mind, but now, faced with a situation that defied explanation, she was willing to consider any possibility. Dr. Eunice returned to Angela's room and sat beside her, filled with sympathy and gentleness. "Angela, I need you to be completely honest with me. I'm going to do everything in my power to help you, but I need to understand everything about your relationship with Williams. This is important." Angela looked down and a fresh teardrop slipped down her cheek as she prepared to share a part of her life she had never thought would be buried out. "I met Williams last year. We were both struggling. He came from a background like mine, poor but with dreams of something more. We had so much in common, and for a long time, I felt like he was the one person who truly understood what I was going through." Dr. Eunice nodded, encouraging her to continue. "And things changed?" Angela continued. "Yes, about 3 months ago, William started spending time with some new friends. At first, I was happy for him. They were wealthy, successful people with power, or at least that was how they appeared. But something about them did not feel right." "What do you mean?" Dr. Eunice asked as her curiosity piqued. Angela's voice grew softer. "There was one night I remember he came back home. Late, acting strange, his eyes looked different, cold, almost as if he was someone else. He spoke about wanting to escape poverty, saying he was tired of waiting endlessly. He said he would do whatever it took to be rich." "Did he tell you what that whatever it took might be?" Dr. Eunice asked gently. Angela shook her head. "No, he was vague, but I could see it in his eyes. He was serious. He wouldn't listen when I asked him to be careful and to remember that not everything that glitters is gold." Dr. Eunice nodded suspiciously. "Angela, I know this might sound unusual, but I think it is possible that Williams may have become involved in something dangerous, something that has affected you as well. I want to help you find answers, and there is one way we might do that." Angela looked up curiously. "What do you mean?" Dr. Eunice took a deep breath. "I think we should try to contact Williams. I want you to call him, and while we speak, I want you to pretend that everything is fine. Keep him calm, make him feel comfortable, and see if we can get him to review anything that might help us understand what is happening to you." Angela's face went pale. "You want me to confront him?" "Not directly," Dr. Eunice clarified. "Just talk to him casually. Tell him that you're not feeling well and see how he reacts. He'll be listening, and if he lets anything slip, it could be a vital clue, but if you notice that he's pretending, then try to provoke him. Push him to be angry and say things out of anger, whichever one works." Angela took a deep breath and then nodded. "All right, I'll try. I'll do whatever it takes." Dr. Eunice gave her a small recorder, telling her to keep it close to her. They dialed William's number, and Angela held the phone to her ear, forcing herself to remain calm as the line rang. After several rings, Williams's voice came through the line, casual and unbothered. "Angela, what's up? I didn't expect a call from you." Angela clenched her hand around the phone nervously. "Hi, Williams. I have not been feeling well lately. I just wanted to check in with you." "You are not feeling fine?" he asked with a cool tone. "What do you mean?" Angela blinked, trying to keep her voice casual. "It is hard to explain. I have been experiencing some strange things. I thought maybe you would know something about it." There was a pause on the other end, and Angela grew increasingly nervous before Williams laughed a hollow sound. "Angela, don't be ridiculous. If you're feeling sick, then you should just rest." But Angela pushed on, carefully maintaining her tone. "But Williams, this thing started after we were together last week. I don't understand it, and I thought maybe you would know." "Angela," he interrupted her sharply with a cold voice, "you were asking too many questions." Angela felt her heart sink. She could hear the indifference in his voice, the lack of empathy for her suffering. It was obvious that something in him had changed. "Williams, if there is anything you are not telling me, please, I need to know," she pleaded. Finally, he let out a frustrated sigh. "Fine. You want the clothes? I was tired of leaving like a nobody, Angela. I wanted more. I needed a way out, and you just happened to be in the right place at the right time." Angela's breath caught in her throat. Her worst fears have been confirmed. "What did you do to me, Williams?" A chuckle echoed through the phone, very cold and heartless. "Nothing personal, Angela. Let's just say you were useful. Some of us want more from life, so you were my sacrifice." Angela's hands shook as she held the phone. She had thought she knew him. She had trusted him with her life, and now he had turned her into a pawn in his twisted game for wealth. Dr. Eunice, who had been listening to the conversation, gave Angela a reassuring nod, signaling that she had recorded everything. Angela finally ended the call, still in shock of the betrayal. Dr. Eunice was now convinced that Angela's affliction was beyond the realm of physical medicine. She then decided to take Angela to someone who could help her understand and hopefully reverse the dark forces that had entangled her. She took Angela to her church to meet her pastor, Pastor Elijah. As Angela recounted her ordeal, Pastor Elijah listened attentively, nodding as she spoke. "Angela, you are the victim of a ritual. What you are experiencing is the result of a dark spiritual exchange, something Williams initiated without your knowledge. You have only 5 days to live because the sacrifice has been successful, but take heart. There is a way to break this." Angela's eyes filled with tears. "Please, Pastor, I will do anything. I just want to be free of this course." Pastor Elijah nodded. "There is hope, Angela. God's power can overcome any darkness. I want you to begin by praying the Psalms from now on, especially at midnight, when the power of prayer is strongest. Start with Psalms 35, Psalms 91, and Psalms 109. They are prayers of protection and deliverance." He then prayed for her before they returned to the hospital. That night, Angela sat on the floor of her hospital room with a Bible on her lap. She opened Psalm 35 and started to pray with the words, "Contend, Lord, with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against me." The words echoed through the quiet room, filling the air with a strange, peaceful energy. She continued with Psalm 91, feeling a warmth envelop as she spoke the words of protection and faith. As the clock struck midnight, she finished with Psalm 109. She prayed fervently as her soul reached out for deliverance. Angela's condition began to improve. The maggots disappeared and the pain lessened. Dr. Eunice and Pastor Elijah were astonished by the change, knowing that something supernatural had taken place when she became stronger. Angela, accompanied with Dr. Eunice, went to the police with the recording of Williams's confession. They filed a report, and the authorities immediately launched an investigation. When they arrived at Williams's apartment, they found an eerie scene. Williams had lost his mind. He was sitting outside, looking disoriented, with tattered clothes, blabbing incoherently. It was as if the darkness he had unleashed had turned back on him, consuming him from within. The officers quickly restrained him and took him away. Days later, Angela was discharged from the hospital, and just before she left, she went to Dr. Eunice's office. "I don't know how to thank you, doctor. You saved my life in more ways than one." Dr. Eunice smiled. "Angela, I didn't do this alone. You were strong enough to face what happened and brave enough to trust us to help. You took the steps to break free." Angela sighed, feeling a mixture of relief and gratitude. "I never thought I would survive, especially after realizing what Williams had done to me. I trusted him, believed in him, and he betrayed me in the worst way." Dr. Eunice smiled gently at her. "Betrayal can be deep, but it doesn't define who you are. You are more than what you went through. You have a future, Angela, one filled with hope, healing, and possibilities." Angela nodded. "I do feel different, lighter, as if a dark cloud has lifted." Angela and Dr. Eunice went to the police station to follow up on the case. They learnt that Williams had been formally charged, and the evidence Angela had provided was crucial in bringing him to justice. The recording of his confession and the testimonies of Dr. Eunice and Pastor Elijah had painted a clear picture of his intentions, leaving no room for doubt. The officers informed Angela that Williams would face trial and his actions would not go unpunished, but he would first be put in the police psychiatric hospital until he gained his senses back. Angela resumed her studies, feeling stronger and more focused than ever before. She returned to her life, determined to make the most of the second chance she had been given. She also promised to intentionally build relationship with God and to never engage in any sexual relationship with any man until she was married. She continued to keep in touch with Dr. Eunice, who was now like an elder sister to her. Thank you for watching this story. If you enjoyed this story, kindly share your thoughts about it in the comment section and give this story a thumbs up also. Share with your family and friends and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching. Stay positive and optimistic. Your dreams will come through only if you refuse to give up. We love you. See you in our next video.